Yeah, 6 games versus Kui stock. Okay. There's that. Any questions? Point Wars versus Fortune. Defending against corner headless. Dealing with headless, more or less. Okay. Yeah, I'll watch what you're doing, and then I'll kind of walk through some of the things I like to do. What assists do you run? Clyde and Beam. And so you're asking specifically about the para matchup, but in general, things to be keeping track of when you're playing versus headless is how many different tools do you have to hit the head. So, and this includes assists. So Clyde, I look at and immediately go, that's actually a really good tool to lock out the head because it will hit the head and then pop it in the air. So it is locking it out for like an extended period of time. So you've got that going for you. Pillar also is alright, but it's also a little bit more committal of an assist. So just be thinking about stuff like that. Alright. Can just hop into it. Thinking a lot about this matchup right here. And Kui rotates assists, so some can be a little more annoying than others. Heads off. Cremation. So, first things first, this is a good option to deal with the head straight up. Launcher, and you can do jump heavy punch here. Actually, can you stomp the head? I have not messed with that. I'll need to check that afterwards. But yeah, so launcher here, and then you can hit it. I can't remember if jump heavy punch sends it straight down or sends it full screen. I want to say it sends it full screen, but I don't know why I think that. I go a different route for dealing with the head, but launching the head is a very strong option. And because all of your characters have single hit launchers, it's a very good thing to be considering. So yeah, plan cancel, dealing with that. Okay, so block all that. Yeah, so the things to be keeping track of when you're dealing with the head is like you've dealt with all of this and you also push blocker out. This is the time you have to be doing stuff without any worry of the head being on you. And so this is kind of like, where do you want your game plan to go from here? Because you can do what I think I saw you do, which is just return to zoning. The other option is she's a puppet character without a reversal and without a DP assist as well. You can... It's the riskier option, but you can also opt into trying to be the aggressor, because instead of dashing backwards here, you can, like, expect them to try and reset the head, something like that, and so you could dash up 2 heavy, or dash up 5 heavy punch, would catch them kind of doing 2 HP things. Just like trying to be thinking about how they're wanting to activate the head as quickly as possible. Dash up throw can work, but this is a little too far for that. Dash up 2 medium punch just stuffs a lot of things. Like you have options to be aggressive because they don't have access to their puppet tool as the puppet character for like a second until they hit it. But you're opting to reset, be neutral, kind of control space. Beam makes sense. Yep. And then this is the one downside to this is you need to have a plan for the head getting this close now. The M shot didn't quite hit it, you're blocking that. One thing I actually kind of like doing at this spacing, push blocking, is if you didn't push block here, you could just check the approach with a sweep, because if it trades, you're fine with that, because sweep would put them in a tech spot anyway. It also, sweep knocks the head up and away a little bit, so it puts in a good amount of stun. It's something I've been messing with and enjoying using, dealing with headless. Yeah. Alright, got the hit. Zoning, no confirm. Yeah, and so now you have the head on you and you need to be kind of afraid. So, yeah, and now it's an unfortunate drop, but this is then where you get into exactly where you do not want to be versus this character, which is sandwiched in between the head and the body. So, like, you have to make a choice. You made your choice. You decided to go forward. Your assist is on cooldown as well, yeah. So, it's kind of the only choice, honestly. You don't have time to back up and really try and hit it with much. But at this point, yeah, you kind of got to be patient because it is not your turn to do a lot of things. Good tech. Overextending again. The head can cover a lot of distance. Oh, they didn't tech. Too far away. Your sister's on cooldown, wasn't it? Yeah. So you don't have OTG, you have to snipe here. The good part about going on a snipe here, even though you can't get a conversion, is you get Oki with Clyde like coming back up shortly. So you can threaten high-low, and you have Stomp, which you get a conversion off of because of Clyde. So, things to be thinking about. And then, in this situation here, you don't need to be afraid of the head. It's on cooldown. There are no place to hit it. This is where you can say, I am not afraid. 2 LK, 2 MK. And then if you want to extend into sweep, you can. If you want to end it immediately with M shot, you can do that too. That is like my default for going to hit the head, is just both lows, and then I can go into sweep, which usually checks their approach as well if they're running on the ground. Or I can go into M shot to just stagger the head, or if the head's a little too far away, the M shot covers their air approach as well. Obviously, you don't have your assist here, but you can also use your assist to then... If you wanted to, you could use Clyde to hit it and keep yourself safe, so you could react with shots or pillar based on what they do and just have Clyde do the job of hitting the head. So it's the thing I notice a lot for dealing with Fortune, and it's really easy to do this, is just be too afraid of the head. Like, it will burn you. If you make mistakes around it, it is immediately there to hit you for it. But on times where you have an opportunity to hit the head, extend its lockout further, and just not deal with it, those are great times, because that's also just free damage, as long as you're being smart about it. And then another really good thing to keep in mind of is, as you did earlier, you can launch the head, which also means you can jump cancel with the head in front of you. And because you can jump cancel with the head in front of you, that means you can Tsuki cancel. So you can jump cancel and block immediately if you ever accidentally overextend, or if they like just barely miss the 2 heavy punch you expected to anti-air them. You neutral jump and then hold back, and it will immediately cancel the jump into being able to block. Yeah. The head is a two-way street. It lets you be a little bit egregious too. Good block, really good use of absolute card. Over here. Take throw. Into the corner. Take throw. Drop. Okay, so again here, head's on cooldown. Just 2LK it to oblivion. The thing I see JP do a lot. I think you need to be spaced a little bit further away, but you can kind of do that because you have the time, especially after 2LK, is he eventually just goes into 2 HP into special. And this is true for all of the characters that have this. So for double, it's 2 HP, some Luger, usually, to hit the head. And then you are literally just saying, Fortune, you have to approach me. This head is in lockout forever. And so you use that to go, they're not approaching me on the ground because 2 HP literally beats just about everything. So you're seeing what they're doing in the air, and then you can put it on knockout and then immediately address however they're trying to approach you. If for whatever reason you're playing Fuqua, the thing JP does for that is 2 HP L clone, and then just that on repeat. That is the go-to for those characters, because it does a lot of work for forcing the cat to approach you. We're back in. So... Yeah, no. Your main objective in this matchup is just to stop her from getting a charge. And so for as little as they were jumping, the amount of M shots you were doing was kind of just letting her do things out, expecting to die, just getting thrown. No confirm, don't tech the throw. Mixie. Yeah. Quite. We're getting caught down backing a lot. I think I'm good, Dry. It's gonna be a short one. It's just this. Keep playing Rivals. Have fun. Getting caught pressing. Yeah, so you're dashing forward and pressing aggressively and getting checked for it. Oh. Yeah. So the way I tend to try and deal with stuff like that is I then just dash aggressively but don't press anything. And I know they're going to press something that I can then push block and use that to just gain space and fight my way out of the corner. The other thing to do, if you're choosing a little bit more violence, is dash up reversal. You also always have empty hop, or just neutral jump to say, I'm reacting to what you're doing and then seeing if I have space to double jump out, or if I'm just going to land with a button to check you trying to close space. Those are all valid options. And so you don't always immediately have to go, I am fighting my way out of this corner. Yep. Hell shot in this matchup. It's a bit rough. Good blocks. Cannot land on the head like that. Just does not work. Where is this going? So block that, block the sneeze, block the cremation, another push block, blocking all of that. And then I think we just got caught up forwarding. It's a lot. I feel like you could have pillared there. But that is asking a lot. I'm just always, especially versus Headless, looking for PBGC DP on an overextension. It's... yeah, because oftentimes they are overextending. Yep, you cannot land on the head with a button. Just doesn't work. Not for That still worked. I really thought the head was gonna mess that up. Yep. You wanna try and keep yourself on the side away from the head. And also, in general, a good thing to be kind of checking in this matchup is how readily are they just trying to prevent you from L-beaming. Because L-beam will always hit the head. And so if they're not like immediately in the air to deal with you doing that, get off the counter. Oh, please just don't call your assist. Okay, that's at a safe distance. I certainly wanted PBG Sail Bomber. I think either way you lose there. HP. What situation did we press this in? Understandable. Wasn't quite time to actually deal with the assist. It's unfortunate. Getting mixed. Not allowed to do that with the head right behind you. My default when the head's next to me is super jump away. Can start getting predictable, but it's very similar to like a squiggly with charge, where it's like you cannot extend at all onto anything right in front of you because you will get caught. How did we win neutral dash up though? Alright, keep her in the corner. Mistimed it slightly, that can be made meaty. It's really hard though on lights. Yep. The head always stays in the corner right behind you. There's no running away from it behind you. Just for future reference, always be really careful doing these not true block strings versus squiggly, because I don't know if they could have done it after that push block. Daisy would have reached you here if they could have fit it in. And then here, Daisy might grab your feet, but SBO definitely wins right here, because they're not actually in blocks stuff. So it's just a thing about the squiggly matchup. It's very similar to the Eliza matchup if you're in caught ranges. It's like, you cannot get away with some of the stuff you're really used to getting away with. Unfortunate! That wins. Okay. Good reaction. So, for instance, here is kind of where I'd be dashing up and checking the head and then dealing with the fortune approach accordingly. So it's like dash up 2LK, 2MK, and by that time the fortune's usually relatively close, so then I'm going, am I 5 HPing, am I sweeping, am I launching? Because you've got a little bit of time. And now you're sandwiched dealing with fortune. Yep. Get hit with the jump heavy kick. Sniper saves the day. Yep. Once again, the head's on top of you. Be very careful going for projectile options. Mixed. Good use of absolute guard. Okay. Yeah, and then if you're mashing, keep in mind if it's reactable, because you should have gotten punished for that. Really good job recognizing you had the land cancel there. Kind of didn't do anything with forcing them to block though, unfortunately. It's good blocks, but yeah, headless pressure. So throw will never work here. It will lose to all of the follow-up options, whether the sweep, the overhead, or just straight up Gato. It also loses... It won't lose to the fibers. But no one's fibering here because it's never safe. And they have so many better options. Push block, absolute guard, push block again. You bought yourself some time, and now you need to figure out how you're dealing with this head. I might have tried to push block a little too early. Got counter hit instead. Yep, and then just hit my high-low. Caught bashing again. Choosing wrong times to bash, unfortunately. 2 more. Maybe 3 more. There. For the record, Pillar should catch them here. Shot might as well. Getting mixed. Yeah. That's just... Yeah. You're kind of mashing at the end of pressure strings. So it's like you've blocked all the nasty grime stuff and they're kind of resetting, figuring out how they're approaching you next. And oftentimes they're doing that by up backing and then trying to figure out what they're doing. So usually they'll like call assist up back and then go back in. And because that's where you're mashing, they're up backing while you're just doing the mash and it's not working. I have this problem too, where you were so focused on defending everything that you didn't mash during some of the really sketchy parts, and then they're like taking a second to breathe, figuring out their next approach, and you go, I'm mashing here, because they're going back in, and that's like the one time they're like resetting everything and not doing it. And so it's... Once you hold all of that, sometimes the best thing to do is just be patient for a little bit longer, see what's coming next, and then resolve yourself to react and DP the next approach rather than kind of just panic and do it. It's really hard to do. Getting hit with... Yeah. Also, Um, actually, that's true for head-on. I don't know about for headless. I'm pretty sure you can mash through though. Well, mashed here, got them pressing. Pressed into the head. Would have lost a zoom anyway, even if it didn't get cancelled early. Uno mas. I really like M shot in this matchup, but I also usually do it with another assist, and I'm not entirely sure how well your assists facilitate that game plan as well. But didn't quite make it meaty. Also, do take note of how they are consistently trying to double jump out of your mix. So do stuff that's easier to make it tight, or go for air throw, because you can't double jump out of parasol air throw. Force them to tech it. Yeah. Also, when it comes to as far away as the fortune is in these scenarios, sometimes not push blocking the head is better, just it gives you more time to react, or interact in general, just similar to how P projectiles, you kind of don't want to be push blocking them at certain distances. It's the same for the head. If you need the cat girl off you, usually one of the best times is to push block the head, but if you're not at threat of dealing with her, you don't need to. Good blocks. So you keep going for PPG's throw, and I don't know if you're expecting a throw or if you're trying to catch them with it, but if you're expecting the throw, I don't know if you've gotten thrown once the set on the ground. So I'd only really start expecting that predictably if it happens consistently. If you're trying to throw them out of things, that's just not really the way to go. I'd rather just see invulnerable DP or jab, even though you kind of have a crappy jab. So it's iffy, but like PPGC throw is just gonna lose to so many things, and it puts you in so much recovery if things go wrong. Good tech. No, I might be a liar about getting ground thrown. Hey, do you know the double side swap? Nope. And overextended on top of the head. Yeah. This is a situation where instead of committing to hold your ground, you're just super jumping out. Or at least super jump neutral and seeing what happens. Get strong. It's just, it happens. Very weird job. Oh no. Alright. Going into install. That's not safe, is it? You want to be on top of her for the most part. Yeah. That whiffs? Or did the replay desync? I guess so. I'm sorry I don't get to see the last bit of that game. That's very strange. These were played on retail, right? Yeah. Very strange. But I'll hop into lab and kind of just want to figure out some of the answers for some of the questions I realized I didn't have answers to. Well, that's random. Do I have recording on? No. Training options. Okay. So oh wait, does that work? Okay, no, it launches it straight back down. I was like, I swear this works. But yeah, so you can jump cancel into just about anything you want. Let's get her away from you. Yeah, it doesn't really do exactly what you'd want it to. Can you stomp it though? Not for a very long period of time. Okay, you can get a couple, but it kind of doesn't do really what you'd want it to. Yeah. So you don't get as much for launching it with Parasol, unfortunately. You still have access to all your defensive tools and jump cancels with it, as well as just it puts the head in the air for as long as possible. And so, like, as I was telling you with Clyde, I try and use cremation similarly to just hit the head. And so she's at this range when I'm doing this. I might end up going like that. She's at this range. I can also try and do that to catch her approach, but do keep in mind if you're on top of the head, the sweep will miss. You kind of need to be here, and it sends it a good distance back. And so stuff like that, you having Clyde, it's like just doing that. Those are the sort of things I'm kind of looking for when dealing with the head. And I'm always just trying to be really confident about doing it once it's on cooldown. So it's like once they use a zoom, and especially if they're here, it's like I call an assist. Call an assist to box them out. Dash back, I didn't want the input. And then start hitting it, and then putting the timer on them to go, no, you're approaching me. Because they need to protect this. And then the second they get close, you can decide to change gears, or you can, again, just do that, up, back, have the head kind of away from you. All that shebang. Let's see if I can... Oops. Nope, dropped it. Oh well. But yeah. That's my 2 cents about that. I didn't notice anything in particular about you push blocking her, but that's something I need to look into more myself, because I don't know if there's any better times. I usually just push block, try and abuse Absolute Guard to save my life, and then at least empty hop or up forward the second I have a chance to try and at least buy myself time to react to what the head's doing if they're going to press it again. That's, yeah, usually that deal. But it's a short stream.